a lot of vegetables, grains, cereals, etc., and they provide lots of food to Russia.
Russia.
So it's a geostrategic battle, I think. Yeah, well, that's my idea. What do you think about that, Mickey?
Mm, First of all, could you listen to me, teacher?
Yes, I can listen to you.
Ah,
Yes, of
okay, okay,
course.
okay. Um, I don't know. There are a lot of theories on internet, and I saw that uh, a lot of people think that Ukraine could decide if be part of OTAN or part of Russia, and Russia don't need to uh, order in certain way to Ukraine because Ukraine is a free country. So I don't know, teacher. I was searching a lot, but there are a lot of information with different ideas. So I don't have a lot of the topic.
Right. Well, that is true. That is true. But it's like the Russians exert pressure in the Ukraine because it was a part of the Soviet Union.
Yeah,
Remember that the Soviet Union was conformed by like 17 countries: Ukraine, Belarus, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, etc., etc., etc. And these countries were satellites of Russia, just the same as for example, Mexico has been providing food and many raw materials at a very good price to the U.S. Oil, raw materials, wood, now cement, food, fruits, vegetables. Imagine that suddenly there is a pressure that we don't give food to the US, that we send it to China or to Russia or to India. We're
hmm,
going to say that the Americans are going to say, hey, wait, you've been providing me food for decades, and all of a sudden you want to go away. So it's
well,
like a
yeah, that's true.
codependency. The Ukraine borders with Russia. They have a border,
Hmm, hmm,
like Mexico has a border with the US. So it's a natural thing that you help your neighbor.
yeah,
In this case, the pressure is that the Ukraine not only does not provide Russia, but become like an opponent. And
hmm,
it's complex because sometimes the information is biased. It's not
yeah,
neutral. It's biased. There is a
hmm,
bias. There is a tendency, right, depending on the source of information. So all I can say is that is an understand. I understand the nature of the problem, but I don't have all the information. And of course, one newspaper is going to say one thing, and the other newspaper is going to say the opposite.
that's the problem. Yeah,
Right,
but
that's true.
well, there are people that are saying that it's gonna be the World War III and a lot of things, and I think that is worse because there are a lot of disinformation,
That's true.
and
That's true.
I think that these things occasionate more bigger problems.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that's very true. Do you like politics, Mitch? Geopolitics,
Yeah, I would say yes. It depends of the theme, to be honest.
like international politics, like the issues Mickey is mentioning: Russia, the Ukraine, Mexico, the U.S., Cuba, Venezuela, all these conflicts in the world.
Yeah, I like those. Just this time, I don't uh, inform myself so much like him, but I have to.
Okay, okay. There was an episode in the 60s, 1960s, 1963, I think, which is called the Missile Crisis in Cuba. I don't know if you heard about that, Mickey, where the Russians were trying to install nuclear missiles in Cuba. The reason was that the US had missiles in Turkey and Italy pointing to Russia, nuclear missiles.
Yeah,
So Turkey is close to Russia, very close. Um, and so the Russians try to do the same. They try to install missiles in Cuba, and the U.S. noticed that when Robert John F. Kennedy was the president, and they put a quarantine, which is a blockade. They put like a wall to avoid that the Russian ships brought the nuclear ogives to be installed in the Cuban soil. and that almost caused the Third World War. And that was a crisis, very, very severe crisis. You can see a lot of information about this. Just call it the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Cuban Missile
Mm-hmm.
Crisis.
The
Um,
Cuban Missile.
right,
Okay.
the Cuban Missile Crisis. And there is a lot of information about that in internet. Actually, people say, but it's just speculation, that
Mm-hmm.
that was the reason why Kennedy was killed, assassinated, because when it was the time to talk with Premier Khrushchev, he was very brave. Like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and blah blah blah. And but Khrushchev said, "Listen, Mr. President," and there are letters about that. They say, "Listen, Mr. President, you cannot talk to us like you talk to the rest of the world to begin with, because we have the same weapons, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And they say, if you try to do this, we're going to defend our interests, and for that we have the necessary means, meaning that they had also nuclear weapons. And so at the end, the agreement was that the Russians would withdraw the missiles from Cuba, but the Americans would withdraw the missiles from Italy and Turkey, and but there was going to be no publicity. In other words, in the newspapers, the Americans would say, "We won the political battle," but in reality, the Americans also took the missiles from Turkey and from Italy, making Russia safer.
wow.
Um, and people claim, there is a debate about this. People claim that that was one of the reasons why Kennedy was shot. Who knows? I don't know. But it happened during the Kennedy Khrushchev period when
In
Khrushchev was the
the
premier of Russia.
in the 60s?
It's like 1962 exactly.
Wow.
1962. And you just can look up for the the Cuban Missile Crisis, and you will see. Actually, you know what's the best source of information? The best source of information is the American sites, the NS. For example, let me send you a link.
Thank you, teacher. Yes.
I'm going to send you a link which is very interesting. If you want to um, further the story about this, let me send it to you. Some information. Okay, so there is a lot of information, and it's truly interesting because that gives you an idea of the geopolitical struggle that the Americans, the Russians, the Chinese now, and the Indian people, and well, many other people
Yeah.
have. It's
Well,
like a chess game, right? They are fighting for positions. Really interesting, and
this
I like it a
page,
lot.
yeah, this page is of the government of US.
Yeah. The
Wow.
government. And they have a lot of information. They
Mm-hmm.
actually have classified information, and then they declassify it. They say, okay, this information is going to be protected for 30, 40 years. Well, this happened in the 60s. So they declassified information about Kennedy in 2000, 2001, 2002. And they become open documents for the researchers and investigators, right? But originally they were classified information, classified
Mm-hmm.
documents.
Yeah, yeah.
They declassify them, and then it becomes public information.
Wow.
Yeah, it's truly interesting. I'm sure that you're gonna find it fascinating.
Yes, teacher. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Well, guys, I have a proposal that we do some grammar today
Mm-hmm.
about
Yes.
the next section that we were talking about, and then maybe we read a little bit about some riddles, a couple of riddles that I have, and then a little bit about the chapter of how to win friends and influence people. In this case, the Socratic method, which is very interesting. This Socratic method is nothing else but a series of questions that leads you to um, how you say this? Let me show you. To do something, but through questions. How? Let me see. Oh, the secret of Socrates. This is the
So,
idea that Socrates had a method to lead you to the truth through a series of questions that um, you were normally accepting, saying yes. Do you like? Would you like to live a long life? Yes. Do you think that eating well is part of having a long life? Of course. Do
of
you
course.
think that fruits are good and have vitamins? We say yes. Okay. Do you think that an orange is a fruit? Well, of course. And do you think that fruits that have vitamin C help you? Of course, yes. So do you believe that drinking, or I'm sorry, eating oranges is good for your health? And then you say yes. But maybe at the beginning, if I tell you, hey, Mickey, Mitch, do you think that oranges are good? Maybe you say, well, maybe not so good. So I need to begin from the beginning. I need to tell you, well, what do all people want? All people want to live a long life, a happy life, right? So I
Yeah.
begin far from the objective question. This is an interesting method.
Mm,
And they use it a lot, both in science and in politics and everywhere. So let's see how they talk about this secret of Socrates.
Socrates.
Right. Well, let's begin then with some exercises here. The last time I believe we did word patterns, and now we would do word formation, the word
Mhm.
formation and derivatives of words. So I don't know if you want to guys read the words and then the derivatives. For example, the first one. Who wants to read the first
Can
one,
I?
please? Yes, please.
Mm, to what word? To what to
You,
what
you,
word?
you, you can read, for example, the first two, appear and build with the derivatives, please, Mitch.
Appear, appearance, apparently, builder, building.
Building, exactly. Then, Mickey, can you read the next two, please?
Yes, sir. Discover, discovery, explain, explanation.
Very good, thanks. The next two, Mitch, important and introduce,
Important, unimportant, importance, importantly,
right? The next one, introduce.
Mm,
introduce, introduction, introductory,
Okay, very good. So these are derivatives of the original word. The next two, Mickey, please.
yes, sir. Invent, inventor, invention, observe, observer, observation.
Very good, thanks. The next
um,
two, Mitch, please.
possible, impossible, possibility, possibly, psychology, bless you, psychology, psychologist, psychological, or psychologically,
Exactly, thank you. The next two, Mickey, please.
Mhm. Research, researcher, revolution, revolution, revolutionary.
Okay, very good, thanks. And the last ones, please, Mitch, please.
Science,
Yes?
scientists on on scientifically,
Okay. The next one, technology.
technology, technologically, technically, technical, technician, technique.
Okay, very good. And something that is made of wood, what do you call something that is made of wood, Mickey?
Wooden,
Wooden, yeah, like a wooden fork, a wooden table, a wooden door, something that is made of wood. Do you know what wood is, Mitch?
Madera, right?
Madera, exactly. Yes, 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 exactly.
But what's wooden?
Wooden, de madera, for example, a wooden door, puerta de madera, a wooden
Ah,
table, mesa de
okay.
madera. All right, very good. Thank you, guys. Let's now do some exercises, and here we have to choose the correct answer. So let's read the first exercise, please. It's
choose the correct answer. Modern science. Uh, so there are all these options, teacher.
for number one. There are four.
Ah, okay, okay, I
For
understand
number
now.
one, there are
Yeah.
four.
It seems entirely mm, could be typical.
Could be typical to us. It seems entirely typical. What do you think, Mitch? Do you think I would go for? It seems
Real could, could be real
real
too.
to us. You don't like the word natural. It's natural to us, entirely natural to us.
There are a team of scientists of universities.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
well,
that too fits.
eh.
Is natural here is used in the context of normal. It's normal to
Hmm.
us that there are
Hmm.
teams of scientists, right? So, um, okay, let's think that it is normal or natural. Let me reduce the font a little bit here. Okay, here. So I can copy it and paste it to our here. Okay. So it seems entirely natural or yeah, natural that there are teams of scientists. What else?
Uh,
Hmm.
it seems entirely natural to us that there are teams of scientists in universities and other institutions around the world attempting to
And to construct
You want to construct the way the world works? Construct.
or discover.
I would say discover sounds more human, right? Because you cannot create, construct, or invent the way the world works, but you can discover how it works. Yeah, discover.
The way the world works. However, it hasn't always been that. The hasn't always been the way.
That what?
Ufa, the world however hasn't been that way.
That way, exactly. That way. Okay, very good. The next one, please. Although the scientific method.
I thought the
although
sign. Sorry.
no, although the scientific method is now 4 or 500 years old. The ancient Greeks, for example, believed that they could work out the mm,
What means eins, teacher?
Aims is like your objective. What is your
Okay.
aim? Your
Oh,
objective.
okay. To go work out. Okay.
mm,
The aims.
The aims. You want to find out uh, what
the
causes
causes.
the causes. Yes, the causes of natural events. The
Uh,
causes, right? Causes of natural events. All right. Just by the power of thought.
mhm.
What else?
During the 17th century, more and more people began to realize that they could. Uh, they could what means measure?
Medir.
Medir.
Could be measured?
You want to measure your ideas, or you want to test them, or you
Mm-mm.
want to estimate them, or you want to calculate them. What do you
Calculate?
what do you do? What do you do with your ideas? You put them in practice, right? So what is
Yeah.
the
Could
equivalent
be
of
the
putting test? Yes, exactly.
Test.
You test your ideas exactly. To test their scientific ideas by designing a relevant.
Analysis.
Mm, but you are a researcher. What do researchers do? They
Mm,
typically what?
mm,
and they see what happened.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They see what happens. But before
Research.
a relevant, but you design a research? No, you don't design. You design an experiment. You
Mm,
design an experiment, and after the experiment, you see what happens. So
yeah, that's true.
you design a
Experiment.
relevant experiment. experiment, a special experiment, and seeing what happened. The number 7, a lot of
A lot of was made in this way when it's class. Progress?
progress. Absolutely, yes, a lot of progress.
A lot of progress was made in this way by individual scientists. These men and women often work alone, carrying out different areas of science.
Research?
You carry out research into many different areas of science. You carry out research. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, you carry out research. A into many different areas of science, and they often received very little. Very little what?
For their hard work.
Price?
Prize? No.
Yeah. Reward?
Reward. Reward is yeah. Reward is recompensa, and prize is like premio.
Yeah.
Right?
Ah,
You receive a reward. Very little reward. D for their hard work.
um, at the start of the 20th centuries, though it became was complicated. Clear?
Absolutely. It is clear to me that science is becoming more complicated. Yes, clear. Clear. Clear is A. It became clear. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, guys, can you please read to the end and then we record this in the group, please?
Yes,
This is a good exercise. Okay, let's see.
done, teacher.
Done? Perfect.
Yes.
So you guys sent it to the group, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Very, very good. Yeah, this is a good exercise because there is a very close meaning between the options, but there is only one which is accurate. There's only one that is absolutely correct. So this is a great exercise.
I was reading the last part, but you kidded.
I'm sorry. That's true. You only have this. I'm sorry, Miss. Okay. Sorry. Can you do it again, please? Yeah, I removed it.
No, actually, it's just the last part. Ready.
Ready? Okay, thank you very much. Well, let's continue with the next section, which is also important. These are close words as well. Um, okay, let's do exercise B, which is also which also has similar words, but only one is correct.
Okay.
Okay, who wants to do number one, please?
Me.
All right.
Circle the correct word. Many materials have been used for uh, artificial teeth, including
Artificial,
with
artificial teeth, false teeth.
or is
Um,
false teeth.
I think it's false teeth. I am more familiar with false teeth. Let's see, false teeth. False
Yeah,
teeth options, yeah, false teeth options. Yeah, they are called false teeth,
false teeth. Okay, okay.
crowns, and yeah, they're called fake teeth or false teeth. It's more common. All right, so it's false teeth.
False.
Let me false teeth. All right. The second one, please.
Be careful. You might give yourself an electric shock.
Electric shock, yes. Electronic is very low power, right? Electric is more power, so it's an electric shock. Okay, number three, please.
Teacher,
Yes.
it's not with them, but what is the difference of college and university?
It's a good question. College is normally recognized as a state um, with a state environment, state reach, state scope, whereas university is like universal.
Oh,
For example, in Oregon there was a community college, which was the local college, right? It was recognized by the state. It had to go through a process if you wanted it to be recognized of the whole nation. So community colleges or colleges normally were local, like state regulated, whereas universities are universal. A university is accepted throughout the whole country.
oh,
So college is like local, like a state. They are the same level, but you have community colleges in the US, which is a very common system, the community college, right? Community college, right, in California. So that is accepted in California. Community colleges, right? So a community college normally has a state scope, whereas the university is universal. That is recognized throughout all the country, right?
oh, okay.
So a community
Well,
college. Okay.
thank you so much.
No, no problem. Number three, please.
Yes, sure. I'm afraid. I am afraid the problem with your washing machine is the uh, motor.
Motor, yes. Engine is normally used for cars.
Okay, okay.
They are the same, but you call engine the one that is in the car and motor in other appliance, electrical appliance.
Okay,
Okay, let's do number four, please.
Many employers in the chemicals industry
Industry, yes, industry. Yeah, it's more
object to the
general.
law.
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's more general. A factory is more specific, an industry is more general. And in this case, if it's a law, the law applies not only to one factory, but to all the industry, actually.
Mhm.
could be like factory the building, or
Yeah,
and
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Yes, an industry is the generality, is more general. The chemical industry, the chemicals industry, money in the chemicals. Okay, number five, please.
Yes, my computer exam is uh, taking place next week.
Yes, yes. Events normally take place. Occurs is something that can be more accidental, like an earthquake occurred, tsunami occurred, and taking place is something like is planned. Yeah, an exam is being planned.
Okay.
Very good. Six.
Technology is a fundamental part of modern life.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Number seven, please.
We had our car service, and it seems there's a problem with the engine.
With the engine, exactly.
With the engine.
Right, right. Yes, very good, because engine refers, as we said, to the motor of a car, whereas
What
machine
was engine?
engine, the engine is the motor, but they call them engines in the car industry. That is
Oh,
the precursor of engineer.
oh. Uh, because there I talk with some softworks that names engine and something more, and well,
Okay,
not
yes,
knowing.
engine is the motor of the car,
Oh.
typically. Well, that was that. And now there is another very interesting exercise, which is phrasal verbs. And here we have to use the verbs in the box. So let me put them here. So somebody wants to read instructions, please?
Can I
Yes. Mhm.
complete using the correct form of the words in the box?
Okay. So what do we do in number one?
What means lorry?
A lorry is a means of transportation that normally goes on sea or in water to reach one place. It's like a,
Lancho?
yeah, lanchon, right? Lorry had.
Breakdown.
Yeah, but in the correct tense, Mickey,
Broke down.
broken down. Yes, had broken down on
Broken
the
down.
motorway. Broken down. A lorry had broken down on the motorway.
And we had to wait for over an hour.
Okay, very good. Let's do now number two, please.
Um, I have the uh, plug, plug in.
No, plug is connect. You connect the computer in the plug, or you plug the computer. But you had a lot of
Mm,
games, and then you reduce them to only
carry
two
it.
computer games. No, something similar to reduction. You had a lot of options, and you have reduced it down to two computer games. So something similar to reduce.
Narrow.
Yes, yes, yes. I have narrowed in past participle,
Mm,
narrowed it down. So can you
narrow.
read the complete sentence, please? I have narrowed it down.
Yes. I have narrowed it down to two computer games, but I still can't make up my mind.
So you are trying to choose various games, computer games. You want to buy a computer game. You had a lot of options. You were reducing it. You were narrowing it down to two computer games, but you still cannot decide.
Mm,
I mean, the two games left are so good that you say, "Do I buy this or do I buy that?" They are still so good that you have not decided. You cannot make up your mind yet. Right?
okay, okay.
Very good. Okay, number three, Mitch, please.
I wish you would. TV off. No saying it's so meters. Blue? No,
The plug is connect or
no. Uh, carry? Carry?
carry off.
Carry.
Turn.
Set aside. You forget about the TV. You what? What do you do with the TV? something off. One of these
Turn.
verbs,
Turn off.
turn off, turn the TV off, right? Turn the TV off. I wish you would turn the TV off. Turn the TV off and go outside and get some exercise. Very good. Excellent. Let's do number 4.
Mhm. Scientists are trying to uh, could be carry out.
Carry out ways to reduce pollution. Looks like carry out or work out. Okay, that's can be carry out ways. You carry out like a maneuver, a plan. You carry out a plan, a maneuver. You carry out ways to reduce pollution, or work out is like discover, find out ways to
Mm,
reduce pollution.
yeah, it's workout.
I think work out is like find ways, work out ways to reduce pollution from
It's
air.
like elaborar.
Right, exactly. Yes, work out ways or find out,
Okay,
determine
okay,
ways to reduce pollution, like find a plan, make a plan, work out ways. Yeah. Because carry out, you carry out a plan, a maneuver, an expedition, something more tangible, more physical. And here
okay,
is you work out, you find out ways to reduce pollution. First, you put them in your mind. What is the plan? Okay, work out ways to reduce pollution.
perfect.
Okay, thanks. Let's do number 5, please.
Tomorrow we will be out of an experiment to test this turn. Uh, we will work out.
What,
No, 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 no,
the other one,
no.
workouts taken.
No. Come out. Carry.
Carry out, yes. But in general, right? We will be carrying out an experiment.
Carrying.
Carrying out.
Carrying out.
Okay. Can you read the complete sentence, please?
Tomorrow we will be carrying out an experiment to test this theory.
Very good. Okay, number 6, please.
Could be who came up
Who came up? Excellent.
with the idea of the ball point pen.
Very good. So who came up with the idea of the ballpoint pen? Number 9.
9?
7.
7.
I will
I'm
just
sorry.
you through to our research department. Please hold on. I will just put. I'll just put you.
Put you through. Right, yes. When you connect something through the telephone, you say, I'll put you through to our
Oh,
research department. It's like, I will transfer you to the research department, or I will transfer you to the sales department. So put you through. And the last one, number 8, please.
Yes. No wonder the vacuum cleaner isn't working. You haven't plugged it in.
You haven't plugged it in. Plugged it in. Right,
Plugged
very
it
good.
in. Okay.
what was the meaning of vacuum?
Vacuum cleaner, aspiradora.
Aspirador.
Ah,
The vacuum cleaner is aspiradora.
Plug.
Okay. Well, if you can please choose your 2 favorite sentences, choose 2 favorite sentences that say these and these are my favorite ones, and record them. That is volume subjective. Maybe for you, one is the favorite one, maybe for Mich is the other one. If you can
Okay,
please
sure.
record them, please. I'm gonna make myself a cup of coffee really quick. guys finished?
Yes, teacher.
Perfect. Let me just fix myself a cup of coffee really quick.
Yes, it's okay.
Yeah, for some reason I have become addicted to coffee, Well, I think it's my only addiction, but a pretty strong one, though.
Nice.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes if I drink coffee very late, I cannot sleep very well. So I try to drink coffee at 4 o'clock, the latest, 4 or 5, but not later than that. If I drink coffee like at 7 or 9 in the evening,
Yeah.
then it's difficult for me to sleep. So I try to.
Actually, I read about that when I was taking my pills of caffeine,
Yes.
and the recommendation is don't take a pill after the 5 p.m. because yeah,
Oh,
affect the hours of sleep, sleep hours.
oh, okay. But then you take pills, Mickey. They are pills. There's actually pills of caffeine. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Why
Yeah.
you mentioned that the other day? How are they? How do they taste? Like to caffeine, to coffee, or what?
Uh, I'm not sure, but I just take one. I just took one pill when I have a lot of when I feel lazy and tired. But just one pill.
Right. I remember that when you were a kid, your dad or your mom, I think your dad or
Mm.
someone were giving you like shots like every day or 2 or 3 times a day, and then it disappeared and it became totally perfect, totally fine. But was it you or was it Mich? I think it was you, Mickey, that you were like taking not injections but like shots or something like 2 or 3 times a week, very often, and you were
Yeah,
a young kid. Remember that?
yeah, it was me.
It was you, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, your dad told me, and I said, "Oh, how can that be?" And one day I asked him, and says, "No, that disappeared. He's perfect now, and all that."
Yeah, I was well, I had an allergy.
Allergies, yes, yes.
I think that was I was allergic to the dust. I don't remember, but yeah, 2 or 3 times a week. Uh, I had an injection.
Gee, yeah, against the allergy.
And later I took uh, some products. They're called Just. That is the name of the brand. And
Okay,
with that, I my allergy disappeared.
fantastic, fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's let's do exercise D, please, which is to relate two columns,
Mm-hmm.
and let's do them. Who wants to try the first one, please?
Or let's see. Match to make sentences. Uh, Alet's electricity was cut uh,
Hmm.
off because she forgot to pay the bill.
I believe that is right.
Yeah.
Yes. You agree, right, Mickey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see the second one, please.
Uh, yeah. Wear a mask because these chemicals give off fumes that can be harmful.
Absolutely. Yes, they give off fumes. So it is E. Perfect. Okay, let's do number 3, please.
I'm reading an essay. I need to find out who discovered penicillin.
Absolutely right, yes. That was supposedly Fleming. Although the Aztecs put tortillas in the back, and the fungus that the tortillas had was actually the penicillin. So when they had fever, when the Indians had fever, the Aztecs had fever, and they put on tortillas with fungus in the back. They healed quickly in 2 or 3 days. And later on, that happened much before Fleming discovered penicillin. But now the credit is given to the English people. But in reality, the Aztecs already knew penicillin much before Fleming. But well, that's matter of another discussion. This is number four, please.
Yes, I was pleased that our Game Ball uh, came off and the experiment was a success.
Yeah, I believe it is right. F. Our gamble came off. The experiment was a success. Very good. Letter number five, please.
Alchemists spend years trying to turn off, and the experiment was a success.
No.
Oh, turn. No, no, no.
You want to make a conversion?
Turn metals such as lead into gold.
Exactly, exactly. Turn metals such as lead into gold. You know what lead is?
Mm, it's like dirigir.
No, okay, that is lead. Lead.
Oh,
It's actually spelled the same, but the pronunciation is different. You lead people because you are a leader. But in this case, lead is a metal, and
plomo.
scientists, exactly, plomo, right. Yeah, you wanted to convert lead into gold, and you
Yeah,
pronounce lead, whereas lead
lead.
is the conduction, or you guide, you lead people because you're a leader. All right, so number six, please.
Okay, okay. Uh, your teacher says you really uh, come in physics over the last year.
Right, you've come on in physics. D. So which of these phrasal verbs are you familiar with? Number one, cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Cut off. The number two is give off.
Mm-hmm.
Number three is find out.
Mm-hmm.
Number four is came off. Number five is turn something into. Turn something into. Right. For example, the princess turned the frog into a prince when she kissed him, right? Or the opposite, the princess turned the prince into a frog after she kissed him, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you turn something into something else. You make a conversion.
Mm-hmm.
Turn off, and then come, come on, come on in physics or whatever. Which of these phrasal verbs did you use, or did you know, or did you practice?
Uh,
Mm,
find out and turn into. Or common in.
Okay,
Yeah.
find out. And what other one?
Uh, the last two.
Turn something into something else and come on in something.
Mhm.
All right. Cut off something. Well, for example, talking about what Miky was saying a little while ago, the Ukraine is planning to cut off the supply of rice to Russia. Let's say this is an exaggeration. Of course, it's not true. But let's suppose that the Ukraine planned to cut off the supply of rice to Russia. Well, that would lead to a problem. So what you would do is to avoid that, right? So cut off, to stop something. Um, give off. What is give off?
like emitir could be.
Yes, like emit. Yeah, give off. So you give off fumes. The car, you can say the car is giving off fumes. You can say in Salamanca, there is the refinery.
Mm-hmm.
So the refinery is giving off what? Fumes to or smoke. The cigars, okay. The Cuban cigars give off a very strong smell um, when my friends do not take when my uh, basketball players when the basketball players or when the football players finish their games, they give off a strong smell, obviously, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's normal. Okay, so that's something related to odor or smell. You can also talk in positive terms. You can say the lady was giving off a very nice fragrance. You can also say that, right? Or a very odd or nice noise, nice but odd fragrance. Maybe not very usual, very unusual, right? So anything that you perceive with the nose is a result of something giving off, right? So the lady was giving off a very nice but odd fragrance.
Yeah.
All right. Can you give an example, Mickey, Mitch?
Mm, could be the car is uh, the car was giving off uh, a lot of fumes.
Very good. Another example, Mitch? Maybe with a perfume, with a fragrance, with a cologne.
Could be the pizza was giving off a lot of buen aroma.
Excuse me. Nice smell.
Bless you.
Nice smell. Thanks. Or a nice odor. Or a nice. You can say aroma actually. There is a word aroma. Aromatic. Nice
Aroma.
aroma. Yeah. You can also say that. The aroma of the plants. The aroma of the plants. Or the aroma of the cookies. Aroma of the pork. The aroma of the food. Yeah, you can use aroma as well in English. In Englishes.
Mhm.
But what was the noun, Mitch? The what was giving off?
Pizza, but I
Ah, the
think could be
pizza. Ah,
anything.
okay, the pizza. Well, right. The pizza was giving off a lot of nice aroma. Okay, perfect. So we're practicing the ones that we are not so familiar with, which is give off, maybe cut off.
On which other contest we can use we give off?
Give off. Normally with the production of a smell, as it says here in the um, phrase, in the phrasal verbs, give off here. Heat
Mm,
produce something such as heat or smell. Well, for example, you can say the turbine, the turbine of the jet was giving off a strong wave of heat when the technician approached. When the technician approached, the technician approached to fix the turbine of the jet, but it gave off a strong wave of heat. You felt the heat, so the turbine was giving off a wave of heat. So you can see in heat or in a smell, heat as well. They're the radiators of the transformer. There are transformers like the ones in Guanajuato. So the radiators of the transformer were giving off a huge amount of heat, or the ventilator or the air conditioning was giving off a huge amount of, well, not the ventilator, the central heating, right? The central heating as well. The central heating the central heating of the house was giving off a huge amount of heat. Central heating. All right. That's another idea. So not only with odor, but with heat as well, Mitch.
Okay.
Wow.
This is true.
Okay. I suggest that now we do an interesting reading. Well, first of all, let me give you an easy riddle. Okay. This is what amount of money can be divided 50-50 between two persons, giving one person 100 times more than the other.
Hmm. Amount of money can be divided 50-50
Yes.
between two persons and one person 100 times.
You have an amount of money
Mhm.
and you divide it 50-50, but you give 100 times more to one person than the other. So what are you giving to each one? This is a riddle.
Mm,
What amount of money can be divided 50-50 between two persons? One 100 times more than the. What?
Yeah, you
But
divide something 50-50, but you give one person 100 times more than the other.
but why? It means 50-50. It's half and half.
Well, supposedly yes, but it's a trick. It's a game of words. There is an error here, of course, so there is something hidden here.
what amount of money can be divided?
You divide 50-50.
Hmm.
Uh,
So,
could
so
be.
it's
Uh, I don't know how to explain, or I don't know if I'm okay, but two-person beds. I don't know how much is the amount, but maybe one person gets the money. No, 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 no. It's bad word. Or one person get their amount in just one give, or
just one issue, just one emission.
just one emission, and the other gets it in 100 times more.
Well, you have the idea. You're pretty close. It's a game of words. Of course, you're gonna find out that there is an error here, but it's funny because they're using a game of words. One, you wanna try, Mickey, or you give up?
Mm, what amount of money can be divided?
50 times, 100 times more than the other. You give 50 and 50.
I don't know, sure.
You don't know? Okay, $50, 50 cents.
Uh,
A little bit silly, yes, I admit.
Ah,
You give them 50-50, okay, $50.50. This person gets 100 times more than the other one. Yeah, it's silly, I know. It's a bit silly, okay. You say 50-50, right? Yeah, but one person gets $50 and the other gets 50 cents. In reality, Mitch is correct. 50-50 is 50% and 50%. So it's actually an error, right? You say $50 and 50 cents. Like when um, McDuck, the uncle of Donald Duck, remember the rich Duck
Mm-hmm.
was saying, okay, let's divide our fortune, let's divide the money. They made a business, and he said, okay, this is the Uncle Duck. I don't remember what the name was in English because I saw the cartoons in Spanish, but it's Donald Duck. Remember Donald Duck?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That had a wealthy uncle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the name of the wealthy uncle. Let's call him Rich Uncle. Don't remember the name. Well, and the uncle said, let's divide 100 pesos. $1 for me, $1 for you. $2 for me, $2 for me, $2 for you. $3 for you, one, two, $3 for me. $4 for you, one, two, three,
Mm.
$4 for me. So he's cheating, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So he's cheating. But well, that's a cartoon. So here is something similar. We say divide 50-50. Okay, yeah, but $50.50 is not the same, right? Well, it's a bit silly, but that's in the book.
That's a good riddle.
Yeah. $50.50. Okay. Well, let's take a look at this chapter of how to win friends and influence people. This is page 144. And let's talk about the secret of Socrates. Do you know who Socrates was?
Mm.
A philosopher.
Yes, a Greek philosopher, yes.
Mm-hmm.
He was considered one of the brightest minds of all times. And to this day, in logic, I don't know if you have a class called logic in school, but we used to have it when I was in prep in high school, and they call the Socratic Method. The Socratic Method was, as I was explaining a while ago, a method in which you guide a person towards the truth. For example, you protect animals, right? And but I don't ask you the first question immediately. Do you want to protect animals? I guide you. I ask you the first question, trying to lead you towards a yes. I want you to answer yes. So I would say, do you love life in general? And you would say normally, of course, right? You would say yes. Um, then I would say, do you think that every species deserves to live? Maybe you would say yes. Then I would guide you little by little towards the idea that you protect animals. Maybe I would say, do you think animals um, are living or living beings? And you would say maybe, of course, right? Of course. And then maybe I would say, do you think animals deserve to live? Do you think animals deserve to live? Etc. And little by little, I will guide you towards the idea that you need to protect animals, certain species, right? But I begin with a very general question that will trigger a yes answer. The idea is that I produce a yes in you, an initial yes, and with that, it's going to be very easy to guide you. If you say an initial yes to anything, it's easier for me to sell you something, to share an idea with you, to convince you of anything. And the opposite is also true. If you initially say no, it's going to be very difficult to make you change your mind. I mean, so that's why parents, teachers, salesmen, prayers, priests, in general, want to produce an initial yes in the audience, in the people. So an initial yes makes the path easier for you to convince a person of anything, right? So let's see what they say about the Socratic method, please. Who wants to read the first part, please?
Can I?
Mm.
Okay, please.
The secret of Socrates. In talking with people, don't by discussing the things on which you differ. Begin the emphasizing and keep on emphasizing the things on which you agree. Keep emphasizing in possible, if possible, that you are both striving for the same end, and that your only difference is one of method and not of purpose. Get the other person saying yes yet at the outset. Keep your opponent, if possible, from saying no. And no response, according to Professor Overstreet, is a most difficult handicap to overcome. Okay. When you have said no, no, all your pride of personality demands that you remain consistent with yourself. You may later feel that the no was ill
Advice, ill
advice,
advised, ill advised.
ill advice. Never to this. There is your precious pride to consider. Once having said a thing, you feel you must stick to it. Hence, it is of the very greatest importance is that a person be started in the affirmative direction.
Thank you very much. Do you think this applies to sales, Mickey? Do you normally intend that your customer, your client says yes as an initial response?
Yes, teacher. Um, Obviously, when you are trying to sell or when you're trying to convince another people, you need to always lead uh, with affirmative uh, things or with affirmative thoughts. And if you want to sell something, you need to the first thing, well, yeah, achieve a yes of another person.
Exactly, exactly. That's crucial in sales, in education, in training, in most things. You want to produce a yes as the first instance. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Mickey. Let's continue here, Mickey, please,
Yes,
reading
sure.
this paragraph.
The skillful speaker gets, at the outset, a number of yes responses. This sets the psychological process of the listeners moving in the affirmative direction. It is like the movement of a billiard ball, propelled in one direction, and it takes some force to deflate it, far more force to send it back in the opposite direction. Continue.
Yes, please.
The psychological patterns here are quite clear. When a person says no and really means it, he or she is doing far more than saying a word of two letters. The entire organism, glandular, nervous, muscular, gathers itself together into a condition of rejection. There is, usually in minute, but sometimes ipso cerebral degree, a physical withdrawal or readiness for withdrawal. The whole neuromuscular system, in short, sets itself on guard against acceptance. When, to the contrary, a person says yes, none of withdrawal activities take place. The organism is in a forward-moving, accepting, open attitude. Hence, the more yeses we can, at the every upset, induce, the more likely we are to succeed in capturing detection for our ultimate proposal.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Mickey. That is the idea. You want to produce many yeses, right? You want to produce a yes, 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 yes. And it's going to be very easy for you to guide a person, right? Uh, for example, you want a person to study, right? Do you want to be admired by your friends and parents? You would say, "Oh yeah, of course, I want the admiration and respect of my friends and my parents." Okay. Do you think that a person with a good education gets the respect from the people, gets the respect and admiration of the other people? And they would say, "Oh, of course." Well, do you think that if you study, it's a good way for you to gain this respect? And then you produce yeses for the ultimate desire that you want, right?
Mhm.
So that's the whole idea of this proposal, right? Let's continue, Mitch, please. Can you?
And it is a very simple, right?
Yes, please.
It is a very simple technique, this chest response, and yet how much it is neglected. It often seems as if people get a sense of their own importance by antagonizing others at the outset. Get a student to say no at the beginning, or a customer, child, husband, or wife, and it takes the wisdom and the patience of angels to transform that bristling negative into an affirmative. The use of this yes technique enabled James Iverson, who was a teller in the Greenwich Savings Banks in New York City, to secure a prospective customer who might otherwise have been lost. I continue?
Yes, please. Yes, yes. This more.
This man came in to open an account with Mr. Iverson, and I gave him our usual form to fill out. Some of these of the questions he answered willingly, but there were others he flatly refused to answer. Before I began to the study of human relations, I would have told this prospective depositor that if he refused to give the bank this information, we should have to refuse to accept this account. I am ashamed that I have been guilty of doing that very thing in the past. Naturally, an ultimatum like that make me feel good.
I had shown.
I had shown who was the boss, that the bank's rules and regulation couldn't be floated, but that sort of attitude certainly didn't give a feeling of welcome and importance to the man who had walked in to give us his patronage.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mitch. Yeah, so you can say, okay, I forget about it. You are not accepted, and we give you no credit in this bank. Thank you, goodbye. But on the other hand, this person was very intelligent and decided to change his tactics. Can you continue here, Mickey, please?
Yes, sure. I resolved this morning to use a little horse sense. I resolved not to talk about what the bank wanted, but about what the customer wanted. And above all else, I was determined to get him saying yes, yes, from the very start. So I agreed with him. I told him the information he refused to give was not absolutely necessary. However, I said, suppose you have money in this bank at your death. Wouldn't you like to have the bank transferred it to your next of kin, who is entitled to it according to law? Yes, of course, he replied. Don't you think, I continued, that it would be a good idea to give us the name of your next of kin so that, in the event of your death, we could carry out your wishes without error or delay? Again, he said yes. The young man's attitude softened and changed when he realized that we weren't asking for this information for our sake, but for his sake. Before leaving the bank, this young man not only gave me complete information about himself, but he opened, at my suggestion, a trust account, naming his mother as the beneficiary for his account, and he had gladly answered all the questions concerning his mother also. I found that my I found that by getting him to say yes, yes from the outset, he forgot the issue at stake and was happy to do all the things I suggested.
Okay, very good. Excellent, Mickey. Thank you. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you, Mitch. Well, so what is the idea of the Socratic method? We can go further in detail maybe next week. And we need to talk about that too, Mickey, as you
Mhm.
suggested. So well, the idea is that you lead people to yes, to the initial yes, and then it's going to be very easy to convince people of something that is good or necessary
Yeah.
for you. So talking about next week. What is your suggestion, guys? I am free after 10, except
Mhm.
for Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday I am available after 10.
After 10
After 10, it can be 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock, 2, and I am busy at 4 every day. Every day I'm busy at 4.
at 4 RGBs.
Yeah, from
Okay.
4 to 9.
Mhm. Um,
We're
we
first
checked our
thinking.
schedules. Sorry. No,
No,
okay.
no, continue. It's okay.
And well, our schedules are completely different. My schedule and Mitch's schedule. So the only days that we can have the class teacher could be the Wednesday and Thursday at 1:30 to 3 p.m.
1:30 to 3, Wednesday and Thursday.
is the only days.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Yes, teacher.
I think that's fine with me. Let me write it down. 1:30 to 3, Wednesday and Thursday.
Yes.
1:30 to 3 p.m. Wednesday and Thursday.
Mhm.
You know what? That's fine with me.
Yes, teacher.
Thursday, yeah, it's fine with me. 1:30, excuse me, 1:30 to 3 p.m. Wednesday, fine. That's perfect. That should be not a problem at all.
Okay, teacher. Yeah, because the other days we have completely different schedules. So
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday and Thursday at 1:30 to 3. This well, the first 2 weeks are online, teacher, but later of that is gonna be on presential. So I take 20 minutes of yeah of how can I say
To commute from the school to your house.
yes, exactly, to commute to the school to my house. So 1:30 to 3 p.m. is good, teacher.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Oh, that includes the transportation time, or you still
Yeah,
need to do
because
120?
no, yeah, because our last class this day, for example, for me is I end at 1:10,
Oh, okay, okay. So it
so I
takes you
take
20
20
minutes.
minutes.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
Good
Fantastic. And
teacher.
you're okay with that too, Mitch, right?
Yep. We don't have another option.
Okay, well, if that is the case, then I guess I see you next Wednesday at 1:30.
Yes, teacher.
Okay,
Perfect.
guys. Well, wonderful working with you guys. Thank you. Take care, and hope to see you next week then.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you
Yes,
so
take
much,
care.
teacher,
Thank you
for
for the
your time.
class and see you then.
See you then. Take care.
Thank you,
Say hello to
teacher.
the
Cheers.
family. Goodbye.
See
You
Bye.
ya.
as well, teacher. Take care.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.